Today on episode 1 of Foods That I Really Enjoy But Have Become Overpriced and No Longer Buy. We'll be looking at one of my favorite snacks, beef jerky. I don't buy it anymore because I think it's overpriced, but I don't really have any idea about how much it costs to make, so today we're going to find out. An 80-gram bag of beef jerky where I live in Canada costs about $8 regularly. That's slightly less than a fifth of a pound for my American viewers. And yes, I can see it's $5 per bag if you buy 2, but we're going to use the higher price to make this more dramatic. At $8 for 80 grams, store-bought beef jerky costs $99.76 per kilogram or $45.34 per pound. And today I will finally answer the question you've likely never asked: how much does it really cost to make beef jerky myself? The first thing we're obviously going to need is some beef, and I'm using brisket because it was on sale and lean cuts with long muscle fibers are ideal for jerky. I'm only going to be using the flat muscle of the brisket since the point has a lot of marbling and fat goes rancid much quicker than muscle and will greatly reduce the shelf life. I previously cut off 2 sections of the flat and they weighed in at 1,356 grams and 987 grams, giving us a total of 2,343 grams or 5.16 pounds. We'll multiply that by the cost of the brisket and we'll see that this amount of beef cost us $25.77, which is about the same cost as 3 80-gram packs of jerky. But we do still have to process all of this. The first thing we're going to have to do is remove all the fat and sinew from the outside. And after trimming, we lost a total of 38% weight, which means that after only trimming, our brisket now costs $15.18 per kilogram or $6.90 per pound. After trimming, we have 2 choices on how to slice the beef. We can slice it against the grain or with the grain. Slicing it against the grain will result in pieces that rip apart much easier as well as being more tender. However, for beef jerky specifically, I feel the additional chewiness is a positive, unlike when eating a steak, so I prefer to slice it with the grain, but there is no wrong choice here. This is purely personal preference. Try to make uniform slices about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's easier if you stick the beef in the freezer for 30 minutes prior to doing this. Ideally, you're looking for something uniform just like this.
Wow!
Next, we'll have to make the marinade. Starting with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke, 2 tablespoons of sugar, freshly cracked black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of sweet paprika, and give it a good mix. Get everything covered in the marinade evenly and then cover it. Store in the fridge for 24 to 48 hours, rotating every 8 hours. I repeated the same process for the other large piece of brisket. The only difference is I made this marinade spicy using chili flakes. A lot of chili flakes.
The next day.
When you're ready to start drying your beef jerky, cover some trays with aluminum foil to make cleanup easy, then add some racks on top, and add your marinated beef, making sure that they don't touch each other so that they dry properly. I'm also going to be adding this smoked ghost pepper powder to make some of them extra spicy. Set them in the oven at 175 degrees Fahrenheit until they're dry. It will probably take about 4 hours and you should flip them halfway through. After 2 hours they should look something like this, so go ahead and give them a flip. And then right back into the oven for another 2 hours, rotating them around with the other trays for even drying. The larger spicy slices took closer to 5 hours to dry. It really just depends on how you slice your beef. Slicing the beef by hand results in a large variation of textures among the pieces, which makes the homemade jerky even better in my opinion. This is what they look like during the last hour of drying. The smallest pieces are finished, but most of them still have lighter colors showing and need a bit more time. And after 5 hours, they should be fully dry with no light patches. And after letting them cool off and transferring them to airtight containers, this is what the not spicy, spicy, and extra spicy batches looked like. Store the beef jerky in airtight containers and they should last at least a month in the fridge, but they would definitely be eaten sooner if you enjoy beef jerky nearly as much as I do. But now the real question. How much finished product did we get from this much beef? The not spicy batch weighed in at 201 grams. The spicy batch weighed in at 297 grams. And finally, the extra spicy batch weighed in at 185 grams, giving us a grand total of 683 grams or 1.51 pounds. But now we must answer our initial question of, how much does it really cost to make beef jerky myself? And how much cheaper is it than store-bought? Well, we know the starting weight of the beef and that it cost us $25.77. As well, 2 recipes of the marinade, it cost us $4.18, giving us a total cost of $29.95. We can then divide our total cost by the weight of our finished product to give us the cost per gram, equaling a finished cost of $43.85 per kilogram or $19.93 per pound. And if we do a side-by-side comparison, we can see that our homemade jerky costs less than half the price of our store-bought competitor. In fact, it was 56% cheaper to make it ourselves. But enough about the numbers. How did the finished product taste? And I'm gonna be honest, after making beef jerky myself, I don't know if I can ever go back to eating the mass-produced kind. The only flavors in our homemade beef jerky are those of the beef which you have selected and sliced yourself, as well as the marinade which you should have suited to your own palate. It should be the perfect blend of salty, sweet, spicy, and with your favorite flavor accents to suit your own preferences. This is a great base recipe, but you should definitely customize it yourself. I've loved store-bought beef jerky my whole life, but after making this myself, it has a noticeably chemical preservative flavor that is completely absent in the homemade version. So on top of being much more affordable, the quality of the two is also incomparable. I guess this experiment has turned me into a beef jerky snob now, but you're basically paying over double the price for a much worse product. I highly recommend you give making your own beef jerky a try. For myself, it was a very enjoyable experience and the result was much better than I could have predicted. I'll definitely be making all of my own beef jerky going forward. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next recipe.